Welcome, everyone, to a Delco Nerd Network Rewind review, where we like to sit down and talk about some of our favorite film franchises of the past. This season, we're going through the RoboCop franchise, finishing off today with the RoboCop reboot from 2014. Joining me, as always, Mr. Anthony the Gooch Ragucci.
Trio, give it to me in black.
You mean ruin it for you? Sure, let's go. And Evan Moore joining us once again, sir. Thank you. Welcome back.
Yes, happy to be here.
Absolutely. I'm excited to. I actually am sort of excited to talk about this one because I think it's going to be
It's
an
always
interesting
these
conversation.
bad like in-betweeners.
I'm really excited to talk about this movie, and I didn't think I would.
That's what, and that's kind of why. And I'm happy to hear
This is
that.
the point. I got a
I-
lot to say.
Yeah.
I feel like it was just going to be a fun juxtaposition compared to especially the first one.
Yeah.
But initially released February 12th, 2014. I remember seeing this in the theaters.
I
And
was
still
working at we were
I was still
at
working
Regal.
there for a little bit. And this was, I feel like I saw this before I even really
got a
understood
free
the first
ticket?
one. But yeah, well,
nice.
yeah,
Work perks, you know?
absolutely, the free
Yeah.
ticket. But yeah, initially released February 12th, 2014, like I mentioned, with a production budget. It was a range, 100 million to 130 million. I couldn't nail down the exact number.
Okay.
An opening weekend of 21.7 million and a worldwide box office of 24.6 million. So it broke even.
Okay.
It didn't do enough to like really warrant a sequel, but it didn't lose money. So I guess there's that. And guys, I'm gonna hit you with I think my favorite description that we've ever done on one of these rewind reviews.
All right.
All right, I'm
Hold your
ready.
knees.
All right. So in 2028 Detroit, when Alex Murphy, a loving husband, father, and good cop, is critically injured in the line of duty, the multinational conglomerate Omnicorp sees their chance for a part man, part robot police officer.
It's so like descriptively literal.
And also like all over my favorite is the first sentence in Detroit in 2028 Detroit, comma, when Alex Murphy, comma, a loving husband, comma, father and good cop, comma, is critically injured in the line of duty, comma.
real quick. I'm learning this for the first time. This movie's set in 2028.
That's the other thing. Yeah, it's
So
2028.
I actually give it props because it's probably real world 2028.
They just
right?
have like,
right?
No, like it's like very normal. Like, oh, it's just present day.
they have some weird like glass touchscreen
Right.
pads, but that's and phones,
Well,
but that's it.
some of this movie actually felt like a little too, like they're at war with Iran. I'm like, like if we start up like
We're occupying Iran.
what?
Yeah, we have these robots. Like,
I was like, wait.
For reference, this is being recorded on Sunday, March 8th. So.
yeah, so
we are
Iran.
We're in the
And
midst of weird like current events that weirdly align with
exactly what's happening.
What's happening in RoboCop the 2014?
It feels like it hits home in a lot of weird ways.
Wait a second.
So I did.
Back the fuck up.
Before we get into it, I did miss it. So directed by Jose Padilla.
What else has he done?
Not a lot.
Okay.
So you know who actually was originally going to direct this reboot, and it was in development for a long time. Darren Aronofsky.
I would have loved that.
So he dropped out
loved
after
that.
there was like a thing apparently where like
That would've been big.
Avatar came out and they were like 3D. It needs to be 3D. And
this
Aronofsky's
wasn't
like
3D.
no. So and then Aronofsky left and then it languished so long that they ended up coming back to the time where it's like 3D is
we
not a
don't
thing
need
anymore.
3D anymore.
Yeah. So but yeah, written by John.
He really hasn't done a lot.
Yeah.
What else has he done? Can you read it out loud? The Elite
Elite
Squad, another Elite Squad, Bus 174.
He looks like he's done a lot of he's probably Spanish speaker, Portuguese, something.
Yeah.
He looks like he's done a lot of like movies in his native language and the things that you've never heard of.
And I mean he did.
How did he get RoboCop the remake?
This is like the Marvel effect where a lot of random
So what's funny is
well,
like,
you launch. They do a couple cool like small independent films, and you launch them into the next Iron Man movie to be like.
and then it's funny because like this was his idea for the most part actually, but apparently when it went into production was when the studio got very hands-on, and he did have a lot of complaints about production, but I don't know, there was one quote where he's like, for every 10 ideas that I gave them, they used one of them, and I'm like, yeah, that's annoying, but that kind of does seem like
that's
what the
Brazilian.
process is. Oh, that's cool.
Where's he from?
Brazil.
Okay.
You can tell your wife.
Yeah, I can. That's great. I can tell. You know that movie we watched the other night that you didn't like? Yeah, that was directed by a Brazilian.
Now I like it.
yeah. So yeah, guys, I guess let's just get into it. That's really it as far as the details go.
Yeah.
Who wants to start? Let's go, Evan.
Okay.
You're excited. Yeah.
Okay. I'm very. I actually am very. Me. Pick me. No. Wait. Okay.
You'll get that if you've watched
So-
our RoboCop 2 review.
Three.
Anyways, continue.
So straight up, if this is not RoboCop, this is not a RoboCop movie. If this was called Cyborg Policeman, I actually think I'd have a much higher opinion of it. Because there's things in this movie that work very well. Way better than I thought they would.
I agree.
I didn't hate this almost at all. I just hate the fact that it's called RoboCop and it's a RoboCop remake. And every time they would call back to a line or a character or a moment, I would audibly groan. Like, oh, that's right, this is a RoboCop remake. I don't think this movie works. I don't think it's a very good movie, but there's so many interesting ideas in here that in the hands of a different director, a different screenwriter, and it not being a goddamn RoboCop remake would have actually come together to make something that was interesting.
Sure.
As it stands as a RoboCop remake, it is a god-awful remake of RoboCop. The tone is completely wrong. It's not funny. I don't buy it for a second that this is supposed to be RoboCop. I think those ideas that I think are very interesting, the idea of like,
Consciousness,
and free will, like
man in a machine.
There's so much here that could be good, like, but it's just not. And it's frustrating. And there's actually some scenes, and we'll get to them, that I love. And there's scenes that I despise.
Sure.
I like a lot of the actors. I like some of the performances. Some of the effects are good. Some of the action is okay. Overall, this is a 2-star movie. I mean, we'll get to like where it is in the flicks and everything. Like, I didn't rank it high because I didn't like it, but I tell you what, man, there's something that could have been in this movie. Robot Police Cyborg Man, the movie, and you would just take RoboCop out of it, you have something here.
Sure.
So I think I'm going to ape off of Evan. This is a reinterpretation of RoboCop in modernity. It doesn't work. The set dressing of modernity kind of takes away from like the satire.
The satire
of
is
this being
gone.
set in the 1980s. Like
It's not satire; it's just commentary.
Right.
I was going to say it's commentary versus satire.
The satire is replaced with serious film.
Yeah.
It's 2014. Man of Steel just released. We're in that DC era of everything is super serious. You know, like
his suit in and of itself is emblematic.
Very
of
Dark
where
Knight.
he's at.
We're square in this reality of like film, like movies are just serious.
Right.
Like
there's no fun here.
There's one character, Rorschach's character.
Yeah.
Jackie
Jackie
Earle
O'Haley.
Again, stacked cast.
He
Stacked cast.
feels like the comic relief, but like he's like a dick.
Well, he feels like the most like I feel like those old characters if you had to choose one to me to a degree. If you like had, and even like Novak, there's like at the end when he's
Novak?
like he's the guy on the news.
Samuel Jackson.
Samuel Jackson.
Like there's a
that
peak.
horrible
There is a
hairpiece.
peak of what he could have been at the end of this when he's like these motherfucker. Like you could like
The fact that they bleeped Samuel L. Jackson is a crime punishable by death.
But I mean, it makes
Well,
but
it
he's
makes
like,
sense it's on TV.
I don't care. I don't care. The move. I know it's supposed to be TV.
Don't hurt
the
me, Evan.
fact that Samuel L. Jackson says a great couple of curse words and they bleep it. I don't give a shit about the context. That is a sin. How dare they?
I like
2 stars.
I like the.
That's why I dropped all.
I like the exploration of Alex Murphy's humanity through especially the Gary Oldman, his character, and his medical team.
Gary Oldman's really good.
He's amazing.
There's a lot in this movie.
Batman and Commissioner Gordon.
Michael Keaton's really good in this too.
There's a lot in this movie that there are very minute threads in the original that are really expounded upon in this, and I find it interesting, but none of it ultimately ends up being compelling at all. Like it's crazy. Like everything they do, RoboCop doesn't really feel like a cop. He's kind of just like a soldier.
Yes,
but
that's kind of
they
the point,
kind of tee into that at the
was
beginning.
point.
Like the OmniCorp is different from the OCP we know in the original.
Same
They're
logo.
developing weapons platforms for use in military applications.
Well, that's like it's their OCP is their parent company. They
Right.
mention it at the
Yeah,
end,
they
which
do.
I didn't even realize they were saying OmniCorp until they mentioned that. I was like, oh,
I
this,
noticed.
this whole idea that like it's not there's like this Fox News equivalent with Samuel L. Jackson where he's like, we need
it's the O'Reilly factor.
It's the
right?
O'Reilly factor,
Yeah.
where it's like we need more cops on the street and we need robots in America to police people. And there's this like
We're using them abroad, and like,
Right.
there's some commentary there that works for me.
If,
personally.
if this movie was made today, that would never happen. It's too Trump.
yeah,
It's
yes.
too Trumpish.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
so, no, sure. Yeah.
Like if they were to sit
But
down
again,
and make
that's
this
just
movie,
that's what even what was happening. Like they're taking inspiration from what happened in the Iraq War, and I'm sure all the
Syria,
time. Like
yeah.
and
Drone
Syria and all
strikes
that.
in
Like,
Syria,
like
yeah.
again, like I actually kind of. Are you sorry? Do you want to finish off? Your
there's
thoughts?
one more point
Yeah.
I want to make. The character of Detroit is totally gone. Like I feel like
Yeah.
Detroit doesn't feel like this like cesspool.
Well, they keep saying it's so crime ridden, but maybe I could. But is that the satire? Is that the point that these corporations and these media companies are saying? Look at how dangerous Detroit is, but it's not. I almost wish they explored that a little bit better. Like, what if there was like a lot of nice markets and restaurants, and like we saw Detroit being really nice, and then it cuts to Samuel L. Jackson going, "This city's a shithole, and we need more police officer cops in it." Like that would have been a cool commentary, a cool juxtaposition.
I mean, they don't
but
even
it's
really
not.
say that Detroit is dangerous all that much. It's
They
not
do
like,
at the end.
They're
Michael
not like
Keaton has a
harping
couple
on it.
lines.
Well, I
about
mean, they
it.
do get into a gun battle in like a restaurant.
Yeah,
too.
true.
Like so,
Yeah.
there. I feel like there's hints, but I agree
It's
with
like,
you that
it's
it could
very,
be
like,
more
high
overt.
organized crime.
Yeah.
It's not like low tier.
And what's his name's very boring.
dirtbag drug
The bad
dealers.
guy is,
Yeah.
is very.
Oh,
I think
fuck,
he's got a good.
please.
I like his look, but that's it.
One-
But
and
other
one
than that,
last
Compare
thing.
him to.
it's not even a question.
Right,
Right?
you-
Yeah.
You compared RoboCop. I think you asked us if it was a superhero
Yes.
film, which I thought was a very interesting point.
In the first one, I said,
And
"Is RoboCop?"
this
a superhero?
movie is a vigilante film.
Yeah,
RoboCop is a vigilante,
yeah.
not a superhero.
I can
he
see that.
feels like a vigilante. He
I'd
feels-
say more of an anti-hero because he's very much a
He
cop
feels like
still.
an Arrow kind of character. Someone like he's
But he looks
he's
like-
doling out justice, but like the cops don't like him. Like no,
Right,
like
They
because-
don't though.
Well,
like
I
I don't
don't
get that.
think
I
so.
don't
Well,
get
no,
that vibe at all.
the corruption scene.
The corrupt cops don't.
Yeah.
he
Obviously,
seems like very separate from the rest of the Detroit.
Well,
I
that's
just feel
that's
like we-
his
yeah.
humanity, like leaking into the programming. Like, there's interesting concepts here, and I think you're really touching on that.
they
There's-
even bring back the reprogram thing.
yes,
Yeah.
like which is
They
RoboCop
make him
2.
like RoboCop.
Well, it's
in the
almost
middle of this.
it's almost an inverse,
Yeah.
right? So Alex
Yeah.
Murphy gets blown up. I also don't think Alex Murphy is likable at all in this. I
I
like
don't
his
think
character.
Kinnaman's at his best. I
No,
like him as an actor usually,
I don't
but
think
in
he's good
this,
in
I
this.
don't think he's that
is
great.
this
He's
one of
kinda
his
just a
first
dick.
bigger films?
Maybe.
Because
I
this
think
is
so.
this is
He's kind of just a
this is
dick.
a year before Suicide Squad. So Suicide
years.
Squad is like 2015 or
No,
16.
16, I think, right?
Okay.
Am I wrong?
I think so. Well, and I think he feels. I don't know. I feel like he feels a bit more like of an ingrained character, like because Murphy in the first movie, he's moved to that precinct.
But that kind of
Right.
like
And
good
that-
guy fish out of water put in
Yeah.
the situation, and then like the fact that like OCP is like abusing and exploiting him in the first movie. This is just more like, you know, he's this
Wrong
like
place, wrong time. Let's use him.
right, and they,
And he
they trick
fits,
his
yeah.
wife into signing consent forms.
my wife went and she's like, I would never fucking do that. Are
Yeah,
you
I was like,
insane?
don't ever do
like,
that to
and like, so there are a few things that I think if you change up to specifically that make this movie, I think much better to me. I think Keaton. So overall, I
Yeah,
saw
I was
this.
like,
Oh, yeah, sorry.
No,
Go ahead,
you're
go
fine.
ahead, yeah.
2014, I remember seeing this, and I remember liking, like I said, RoboCop
Yeah, this is
1
a,
when
this
I
is
was
a
younger.
rewatch for me as well.
I feel like when I first saw RoboCop 1, I didn't really fully understand why I liked it as a kid because, you know, you don't get the satire, you don't get the social commentary. So when I saw 2014, I was like, this is fun. Like, I had fun with the action, and I think there's some interesting ideas with the idea of consciousness. And
There are
like,
really interesting
and-
ideas
And
here.
how Murphy kind of affects the RoboCop programming. And, like, I love that scene when he's breaking down the difference between Murphy and the robot. And he's like, okay, so the robot goes through these 3 steps, right? Okay. And then he
But
goes
Murphy
through these,
makes choices.
and he goes through these 5 steps. All right, it goes to the processor, goes
Awesome.
to this, but then it goes to his brain, and he needs to make that decision as a human.
It's awesome detail.
It's
And
cool.
then Michael Keaton, like as the big like corporate tech bro guy, being like, I don't care, make
Make it
him
work.
do that.
You're right, yeah.
Like whatever happens, make him do what the robot's doing. I don't care what happens.
And he's like, Commissioner Gordon, I need you to do
Yes.
this for me because I'm
'Cause I'm
Batman,
Batman.
and I need you to know.
I,
But
I do like Michael Keaton and
I think
Gary
Keaton-
Oldman a lot in this.
I think they are the strongest element of this, funnily
Yes.
enough, and like that kind of dichotomy of Gary Oldman seems to genuinely trying to be help people.
The whole
He's
scene with the
losing
guy playing
himself
the
in
guitar.
that's and
right.
there
They're
is this
making
thing,
like Deus Ex,
Yes.
the game, kind of like prosthetics for people.
and there's this
Yeah.
like repeated thing of like the emotion of people messing with the electronics that
which
they keep bringing up.
do in the first scene where
Yes.
they like, oh, I can't play my guitar without emotion. I'm not a robot. Like I need the emotion.
And then even this idea that they then reprogram him and then his human side then overrides. I'm usually so we were watching Man of Steel, and there's one part in that really annoys me. It's when Superman flies up into the beam and destroys the thing because he just can all of a sudden.
Yeah.
He's like, I just feel like I can and I can do it now.
Yeah.
But in this, he's like, he shoots Keaton. But I like that idea of it's his human mind and his human will overriding the programming that's been set in his head. Like, I don't know. This doesn't feel like so disconnected to not be a RoboCop movie for me, but I think you're making a lot of compelling arguments, and I totally understand it. But I just think like if you were gonna do this, and which they were gonna eventually do at some point, because like it's a popular IP.
Sure.
I think this is the way you had to approach it.
I
As
like
far as
the inverse.
how
I
how
don't
you approach
disagree.
Murphy.
I
And I
actually-
think even the way that they're approaching the real world like implications and this
Tehran,
imperialist mindset of like the United States at the time, and of course even now, it feels still very much applicable to even today. So I don't know. There are a few accoutrements that definitely feel.
But I wish they were
superhero-y.
done more in a. I wish they were done more in a way that was like because the first RoboCop is satirizing 80s America,
Right.
And I wish that this was satirizing 2014 America.
Sure.
Instead, it's like this really kind of nasty commentary with no teeth to it. No like edge. No, where you go, ooh, good points. You know, it's more just like, oh.
It's like all right, it's like I see your point.
I see
guess
what they're doing. Oh, it's sad. Oh,
it's like man, the world. Yeah,
Oh, the
Samuel
suicide
Jackson
it's almost a
is
little
like-
too.
Kid
Like
had
you
a-
said,
that kid had a knife. Oh.
it almost hits. It isn't yet.
That's what it feels
It is,
like.
but I get it's not a fun satire. Like this is funny making fun of it,
Or
but it's
darn,
actually
straight up not funny. That's what I wrote. RoboCop is funny.
I you know, like, and
I don't necessarily. I guess for me, I don't necessarily hate that approach on this one. If you're gonna do that,
I don't-
because I think if they tried to do the funny satirical stuff, and it happens
but then
regardless.
it's not RoboCop. And
Yeah,
that's
I don't know.
my
It doesn't
problem.
not feel like RoboCop to me.
I
It really
dis-
doesn't.
I just
like,
disagree.
Yeah, no,
That's
I
all.
understand.
I just disagree.
I kind of agree with Trio, and I think he's making me come up on the film a little bit more because, like, I don't think I dislike this film.
There's so
but
many
I
also
don't
RoboCop
dislike
outlets,
this
like
film.
from the first one.
It's just none of it's really compelling.
It
I
doesn't-
don't care about Alex Murphy all that much.
I don't like
and
him
I
as a
think
character.
that's
I don't care about anything.
I don't
think
care
if
about
you-
his generic wife and kid. Who
the
are just
wife and
like,
kid. I
hey.
think those are the parts that if you nailed that better, that makes this
I,
movie
There's
work
just
from
I
the
stand-
loved
stand-ins.
that sex scene.
well, who doesn't?
no, but the woman playing Claire,
That was
she
my
had,
favorite part.
she has
I
like this.
rewound it.
She has like this perpetual sobbing face on her.
Yes.
She's like, "What are you gonna do to my husband?
You have to talk to your son.
Like it's and then the son's very like again. I needed more out of them, and I think if you make him a bit, and it makes me sad because I do, like I mentioned before, I think Kinnaman can be a very compelling lead.
But there's just these
Missy's just
cookie
not.
cutter, like bland, no character wife and son with
Exactly,
a cop
yeah.
who I think is kind of a dick, who's not really interesting. What I will say, the most interesting part of this movie, and the part of this movie that I remember the most, I have seen this before, I didn't remember a goddamn thing about it.
Sure.
The part that I remember the most is it's an inverse of the first RoboCop.
Yeah.
With where after the accident, he's fully RoboCop and he's learning his humanity. I like the idea that he wakes up and he's Alex Murphy.
Yeah.
And he has to accept that he's now a robot, and they do the mind wipe thing and he becomes more RoboCop as it goes along. I like that idea. And I will say that the scene where they strip away his
They
like
peel
what
him
is
the
what
fuck
is left
away.
of me? What is left of my humanity? And they peel it away, and then more and more and more.
And you're like, they
more
can't
keeps
take
coming.
anymore.
Right, and more comes off.
Yeah.
I actually thought that visually was very creepy and compelling.
Yeah, it is creepy.
the panic, like I felt
The
nervous
genuine
about
panic
that.
in his,
Like,
yeah.
Like I think.
oh Christ! Oh Christ!
Yeah,
Oh Christ!
yeah.
See, I think Joel Kinnaman's acting for that. Like, I feel like they
I'm
needed
not-
different words.
I
Maybe,
agree.
Maybe they improv that, but like, holy Christ.
I think it worked really well when he was sitting there like almost stone faced and he just had the tears running down
and he's
his eyes.
going,
He's just like,
if I'm in control, let me die.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, like that's crazy. Like and there's so many like real world equivalents of that, like people who've been in horrible accidents
Yeah.
who like,
Right, and
you
he's
know,
a doctor, so Hippocratic
right.
oath. Yeah.
And I really, I like that idea, and I like the idea that we get to see what is left of Alex Murphy, which we never see in any of the
and I
other
like they
RoboCop
make the
movies.
reference to the hand.
That's
from
the thing,
first
again,
one.
I-
that was a
I-
cool
yeah, that
detail.
was
so that's
like-
why if
that's a
I like,
cool
and I think
detail.
honestly that's such a corporate move. It's like, well, we want to be able to shake someone's hand,
Right.
You know
we
what I
wanna
mean?
make so
Like-
sure that like because the whole debate with the Fox News thing was, well, who's pulling the trigger?
Yeah.
A robot is pulling the trigger. It's like, no, Alex Murphy
Murphy.
is pulling the trigger. And it was a callback to the first one of, oh, we could save his hand. And Michael Ferrer was just like, no, we don't want any part
Trash
of
it.
it.
we
Yeah,
also
right.
get a Swamp Thing in this in a way. He's like so it's a machine that thinks it's Alex Murphy, and he's like, no, it's an Alex Murphy that thinks it's something like
Yeah.
that. It's like, and I like those philosophical conversations when he's like, well, how is he doing this? He's like, well, we're making him think he's doing it, but really it's the robot.
It's
the
the illusion
AI
of
taking
choice.
taking the front seat.
I don't-
So the one thing I will say, really quick, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
to
no,
just cut you
you're
off.
okay. You're okay.
The OmniCorp itself, the one thing that doesn't work about me for them is that they seem to have a generally pretty good product.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like it worked. Like don't be wrong,
ED
they're using it to
209.
they're using it to occupy.
Come on.
They're
This is
using
why
it
I
to.
don't like it being a RoboCop
Right,
movie,
right.
but whatever.
This is where I think
They
like,
look pretty good, though.
It just does. I like the designs overall for all the robots and stuff.
Yeah.
I think his suit looks great when it's silver, and then they make it
I
black.
honestly think every iteration of his suit, which I think there's like 4 or 5,
Yeah.
Oh, I know
Like,
that there's
they-
the one in the beginning, the black one, and then the end.
The last one.
they all look good.
I don't like the black. I just think it all blends in together. That's the
Okay.
reason I don't like
Well,
it.
if
But
this-
then they do like, oh, we're paying homage to RoboCop.
Yeah, that's the
another one.
classic 20-foot. By the way, now he looks like the real RoboCop, and we're gonna go to
If-
RoboCop adventures.
Season 2, yeah.
If the suit looks good, great. I, for not one goddamn second of this movie, believe that Joel Kinnaman is a robot. Not
No,
at
he-
all.
he's a man in a
He's a
suit.
man in a suit. And they even
Yeah,
try to
I
give
don't
him the
know.
head turn,
Yeah.
and I don't buy it for a second.
Yeah,
That's
he
me.
de-
That's my
he
opinion.
definitely doesn't.
I don't see it.
He's definitely not Peter Weller.
But
No
again, I
one
think
is
that
Peter Weller.
It works for me for him because he isn't trying to be Peter Weller.
And also the
he's
robots
definitely
in
not.
this movie are they're like iRobot. They're very fluid
right.
and everything. And I get
and even
that,
him,
but-
he's very balletic and
But
like much
it
more
doesn't
of like a.
really feel to me like he's no longer a man. It really, and I wish
I
almost,
understand what you're saying.
I wish they fucked up his face.
I was gonna say, I
wish-
think that's the fact that it lips over his face instead of his skin lipping over
Yes.
it. And by the way, there's more than a few scenes where it's off center, and it annoys the
Yes.
fuck out of me.
Really?
It's
I
like
noticed
if
that
the
too.
cowl is off.
I'm interested to hear the fun facts about the suit because I'm like, is this it's some of it's practical.
Some of it's CGI.
We'll talk. I
Some
mean, there
of
wasn't
CGI.
actually. So the top half is practical. The bottom half isn't because the legs are so thin you can't fit like a man's
Yeah,
leg within
okay.
them. So, and that's where I think you notice.
I mean, but it looks good. The effects, I think.
Oh,
like,
the
for
effects in this
suit
movie are
look
actually
great.
really
Look
good. The
And
effects in this movie are actually not bad. The action in this movie is really not bad either.
No, there's not a lot of it.
I kind of liked Kinnaman personally when he did turn into like again, I don't think he's never going to be Peter Weller. But I liked when they did. By the way, don't upload the whole entire fucking police database before you're about to show
10
them off to
minutes
everyone.
before the media. They're like, oh, we
And he's
gotta,
just like,
we gotta,
like-
and then he's like, oh, that criminal's wanted for murder. He's in the crowd.
Dead or alive.
What,
No,
like,
he
what
doesn't-
is that
yeah.
guy doing there? Why would a guy wanted for like, and then Samuel Jackson's like,
scoping things
oh,
out, probably.
he's been hiding in plain sight. I'm like, but why? Why would he be hiding
so I
in
think
plain
to me-
sight?
I took it as it was just like one of his guys, like watching the thing. And it's
I
like,
took it, and I also took it as like there's
too
so
convenient.
many criminals, and again I think they could do a better job of showing it more tattered Detroit. There's so many criminals in Detroit that like they're just hanging.
Well,
around.
I do like the idea that like he can see all crimes happening at once,
Yeah.
and like he can't focus on like his say hi to your son. He's
Right.
like, I got there's 3 crimes happening right now as
Well,
I'm
right,
talking
he's like,
to you.
I gotta help him. I gotta help him. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like his mind can't take it.
I like the scene where he's like, the Alex Murphy is struggling with the robot, and he's like looking at his son, and he sees that he's distressed. He's watching that footage, and he's going to his house. I thought he was kind of
I like the scene
gonna
when he
go
solves
into
his
his
murder a
house,
lot.
but
Yeah.
like he solves his own murder, and like you're kind of like, what is he doing? And then like like I really like how like they use the CCTV to kind of like he like recreate. Like I'm like, this is really cool.
Again, cool ideas.
And
in
there's
this
no
movie.
words. It's just
No.
visuals.
Yeah.
like,
Well, and that's
kind
where I
of-
think he works at his best as just like again, it's not gonna be perfect, but I think he feels like a robot to me in that moment where he's emotionless. But then he turns back into more of a.
But God, I just really wish that, like, from a visual standpoint, they did more with like the skin stretching
I
around his
agree.
face, or maybe like
totally
give him
agree.
scars. Like the fact is just
Right,
perfect Joel
they talk
Kinnaman
about his
face.
Like
eye
within
being
this
missing.
thing, yeah.
Right, like so. Yeah, his eye was missing and everything, but they changed his face back to just being perfect. Why? That makes him like that kind of defeats.
So to me, it's funny. I feel like the more like if I was approaching this from like the logical way as a corporation, I probably would want him to look like Joel Kinnaman RoboCop
I get that.
and not
But as a
Peter
movie,
Weller.
but as a
Like his
movie,
face.
No one's ever
but as a movie, it just feels like man. Like
No, I
just,
totally
that
get it. I
design
totally
to
get
me
it.
is like, especially because of how good that makeup is on
Dude,
Peter
it's
Weller
true.
in the first one. Like,
By the way, we didn't talk about that in 3.
oh yeah, jumping back to 3, the makeup kind of sucks.
Yeah, it did. It does, like,
It just sucks.
Yeah.
RoboCop 3 sucks.
and you even see you even see Kinnaman's face a lot more in this, obviously, than Peter Weller's in the first one.
By the way,
The
that is
slide
a
up.
trope that started with like Spider-Man 3 that I cannot stand.
The
Marvel
mask.
does it all the time, where it's like they're flying around and they're in their mask, and then the second that they land and have a dialogue scene, whoop, here
Yeah.
comes Iron Man's face.
Oh,
Oh, here comes Captain
I-
America. I can't stand that.
when he escapes
I like his
from
cowl though. I
when,
do like
when
the
he
black
escapes the facility in China, which I thought was interesting. That I'm like, I don't remember this at all. And he hops the wall and he lands like Iron Man. I was like, oh Jesus Christ.
Well, this is 2014. This is
Such
after
an
Dark Knight.
influence.
It's after Iron Man. Like it.
I don't even Iron Man 2.
You
is
can
Well, and I
feel
feel like you even
the Marvel and DC influences in this.
Yeah.
And
a
even
lot.
that, it's like you have this big metal man. Where have we seen a big metal man in recent movies?
Iron
and
Man.
that's what I mean. So
I
it's
think
like,
he feels
that's-
more like Christian Bale's Batman.
I was
with
actually
the black
thinking that
suit.
too,
He's
yeah.
got this like the tactical black with
He
the
feels like a
visor.
vigilante.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, I just wish they kept that suit silver, man. It just all when you make it black, all of it blends together.
Especially when you're shooting things in the dark.
That's what I mean. So it's
It
and I,
doesn't feel
dude,
like-
I get it from a tactical one.
The dark fight scene at the end. I love that.
I
scene.
liked it too.
Yeah,
You know
I liked
why?
it too.
The lights on him.
Yeah.
Like, because we always complain
and you
about
get
those.
the
and,
visor.
and you see the lights moving, and I'm like, wow.
So, and
this
that's
looks
so like
good.
the whole top half is I think all that is practical and sometimes the faceplate is CG. I could tell,
Yeah.
because the shadow the faceplate looked good
And then it would
itself,
pop up
but the
real quick.
shadow, yeah. So really quick though, to get back to the corporation, my biggest issue with them is that they are pretty good at their job. And it actually seems like Michael Keaton kind of like he wants like he's
kind of
turns,
a piece of shit.
Yeah, but like and he turns into more of a piece of shit as the movie goes on just to be the bad guy. But like he seems to genuinely want to get his robots on the street to one, make money, but to stop
Well, he thinks
police
he's right.
officers.
He's
yeah.
so holier than thou that he thinks that this is the right move.
And honestly, they showed me. I would be like, yeah, that kind of makes sense.
And in the but it's like they also said that the U.S. is the only country where they're not allowed
Right.
because of like this Dreyfus Amendment,
The Dreyfus
that, like,
Act, yeah.
that they're voting on in Congress. Like there's all this like political behind the scenes stuff. I'm very interested in the world that
Yeah,
this
there
taking
is so
place
much
in.
more politics.
and
in
again,
this.
that feels like a real life thing
right,
to me.
right, right.
But this is where so all of this, and we're heaping praise on the things that we like. I just want
No,
to
please,
shift to
yeah.
where because to me, like in talking about it, it's like it's really not that bad. Here's where it doesn't work for me.
Sure.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Right. It is. I wrote this is not fucking RoboCop, and I like it's every time they try to do a callback to RoboCop, I am consistently pulled out of the movie and reminded about how much better RoboCop, the 1987 original one, is. At one point, when Jackie Earle Haley turns to Gary Oldman, goes, "I wouldn't buy that for $1." I went, "There's the tone, the vibe, the visual, everything about this is so disconnected for me from RoboCop that when you do these things and you make this come dead or alive, you're coming with me, like."
I feel like
makes
that line
my
could have been delivered
skin
better.
crawl. I couldn't stand it. It took me out of it constantly. And the fact that this is a RoboCop remake deflates this movie. And I think it's holding this movie back from being something that is really interesting. I think if you take the RoboCop IP off of this, you take some of the ideas of like the visor and they had to, connect with his wife and all this, you take a lot of that out of this movie, you could really retool this into something that is interesting and poignant, that's an homage to RoboCop without being a RoboCop
I
remake.
don't know
See,
if
I disagree.
I disagree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like the RoboCop is centerfold here for me. And again, I get that the satirical element is the key element to the first
Yes.
one, and I do really enjoy that element of it. But this just feels like a fair shot at like a straight shot of this type of movie.
I'll just say it again. It just none of it feels compelling. That's the problem. Like you don't really care about anything in this
the
movie.
consciousness stuff is the most compelling thing to me, for sure.
To me, this movie has no heart or pulse or vision. It doesn't feel like it was
very robotic.
No, but it does feel very robotic. It feels very generic 2014 action movie. I wish it had a little more bite or
I can't
grit
disagree
to
with you.
it.
And that's sort of why it's high tier flick for me, because it's just like it is a flick. It's something you put on. It's not a very thinky movie. Yes, you're right. It has those elements, but it doesn't really.
I wish
do
it
think
could
it's more. I
combine
think
those
it's more
elements together
thinky
better.
in like certain ways than I don't know. I don't know.
talk
I
to
don't
me.
know.
You can-
I
listen,
don't know.
you can-
I
talk
know
to
what
me
you're
about
about to
being
say,
thinky.
and I actually don't agree. I don't disagree with you because I think what you were about to say, and correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't
there
wanna
are-
say that.
There are parts of this that are a little more philosophical and deep than the original RoboCop.
And I think that comes from being in a modern
we
setting,
all-
obviously.
I love
But
my
and I also think it just
philosophical
comes
thing.
from the approach, obviously.
I feel like again, this is a movie that one was not nearly as bad as I remember it being.
Well, that's good to hear. At least,
Like,
yeah.
not nearly as bad. It's rewatchable. I actually, and there's stuff I do like in it, but to me, just none of it connects in a way that is compelling.
Sure.
And it's not done by. If this was in a head of a better director, maybe if Darren Aronofsky did do this movie, it would have a vision and a voice and a tone. Everything here just feels like you took these really cool elements and then you just smeared them over 2 hours.
Sure.
And it doesn't ever really feel like
okay.
they're connecting any tissue or feeling like there's something that's going to be bigger here.
Did you finish your point that you were?
Sorry if I
making?
cut
No,
you off.
you did. No.
No.
You
You
actually,
were-
that was perfect. No, because I
You
was going to say
you were
that.
making some sort of point. I'm like, did he finish?
No, because I was going to say.
Probably not. I probably just talked over him.
No, you didn't. You were fine. I was going to say, I just think there is some more philosophical elements in that. Like, RoboCop 1 is obviously just exploring it from just a completely different angle.
Yeah.
And I do think there is room to explore it from a more serious commentary angle like they're trying to do, but I don't think that they do fully connect it. And I think, again, they set up those interesting ideas of like American foreign policy and how we use drones and
American policing, which is the criticism of the first
yes,
RoboCop
like
movie.
I find it compelling enough to where I'm like, it's interesting, but did we need it? No, I don't think we did. But did I have fun watching it? And I thought it was as fair of a shake as this guy was probably going to give us. Maybe.
I think the movie gets really boring once Gary Old like RoboCop starts going after Raymond.
Yeah, whatever his name.
Whatever his
Oh,
name.
Sellers by the end.
Sellers, yeah.
Yeah, because it does. Well, and it's like he gets really fucked up at that end battle, which I appreciate.
I don't
but
understand. Yeah, so like that was another thing. I'm like, I feel like RoboCop is like a fucking tank in the first one. In this, I feel like he takes a lot
again,
more
I feel like
damage.
he's much more of a like. I don't know what the correct term is. Like he is a tiger tank in that
Yeah.
first one. In this, he feels like more of a covert jet
Yeah.
or something. I don't know how to.
I like the addition of the bike, by the way.
I love the
I
bike.
like that too. That feels very Dark Knight. All right, so I
Definitely.
had a question that I thought of halfway through watching this.
Yeah.
Is what if this was not a remake and instead was literally just RoboCop 4? And all these concepts, and it's not Alex Murphy. It's 100 years in the future, past wherever the first RoboCop's was.
RoboCop V25.
Right, and it's like, hey, we fucked up Alex Murphy. He saved all those people in Delta City in RoboCop 3 or whatever, right? Like, it didn't work. So now we're doing the experiment, and we're
We feel like the
expanding on what we
technology's
learned.
there.
Right, now we're finally there. And like, this, instead of being a remake, was just RoboCop 4. I think you could have connected these things a little bit better.
I actually
if
like
all
that idea,
of
but-
RoboCop 1 happened. Even
right.
if you don't start with RoboCop 3, you ignore 2 and 3 and just
Sure,
make it
yeah, just a direct sequel.
legacy sequel to 1, and you call it RoboCop
I like that,
V25, right?
But-
and a lot of these concepts and these visuals and everything, I feel like would work better with the context of this happened in this universe. Alex Murphy was RoboCop, and this all happened, and now we're here, and this is where the technology's come.
And we're going to approach it this way
And
now because we tried to do it the other
This is why
way.
we're making him more human up front, because we made these mistakes with Alex Murphy.
You're hitting a point to why I really like Tron Legacy.
Yeah, yes,
I mean,
yes.
it's obviously it's a legacy sequel titled Legacy, but like
One of the first.
It really does the legacy sequel idea super fucking well.
This would have been
like
better as a
it
legacy sequel.
really hones in on it. And I really like that idea because I think you change a few things around with this movie. It is a legacy sequel, pretty much how it is. You just kind of have to insert that narrative and that dialogue and that story to make it so.
And then one place this is obviously a much lesser than film, unfortunately, and I think that they could have done this and should have, especially if it was rated R, was his death. I think you could make it an
Yeah.
explosion death and make it visceral
It was
and worse.
so
It was
goofy.
so muted
It was
and
so
whatever.
goofy.
It was
He
just
wasn't
like
like, boom,
he just got
he just,
blown
like,
away.
blows
Yeah,
away.
and I'm just like,
Whereas
guys,
in that first RoboCop, they not only they destroy him with the guns, he keeps flashing back to it over and over again.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
what if they really took the time to make that gorier and like okay, like
This should
we're-
not have
we're
been a
seeing
PG-13.
his wife
And they
come
did- and
out
it initially wasn't,
like,
yeah.
and like maybe he's like covered up and she like pushes him and like half his face.
right? That's what I mean.
And then
Like something.
maybe you know his kid comes down and you see that and they really
Sell it.
It's much
That's
more
what I'm-
emotionally
in an
gripping.
R-rated movie
Yes,
that
Trio.
hits better, and I think that actually makes the movie, again, like I keep using these random numbers, but like 20% better for me.
Yeah.
Like it
Yeah.
would genuinely, I think, elevate it.
because it's just like
Yeah, exactly. He gets blown up and thrown away.
He still has his leg.
Training, dude, when he's training, they're using a stun gun, and like there's no.
That's the other thing, it's
blood.
stun,
I'm
yeah.
like, RoboCop, the original, is just again.
You don't even see his gun in this, too, which is so
beautiful, violent
yeah,
masterpiece.
yeah.
And even by the time you get to the third one, it's so
Yeah,
bloodless.
yeah.
And like,
I'd like
it's-
sorry.
no,
Neutered. That's what
Yes,
this
it
feels
is.
like. It feels neutered.
this doesn't feel. It's weird. 3 feels so much more neutered for me because I guess it's set in the same time frame. Whereas
Yeah.
like we're just going like this is a reboot, so it's still jarring, but it's slightly less jarring. But sorry, Hitch, what were you
I
saying?
like the weaponry in this, but it is kind of you do feel like they're missing the iconic pistol.
Right.
Yeah.
But like I do like how he's using two guns and like
Yeah,
he's using this like TMP looking. I think he actually is using a TMP. It's
Yeah.
like a submachine gun or a PDW.
I did like his the training scene too.
Yeah, I like the training scenes. Like those were cool.
I like the idea that like, oh, he thinks he's in control, but really he's the robot.
That's
I like
what
that.
I
I
like.
like the
Explanation
idea
was
that
cool.
like, you know,
they're dancing the line of what is a robot and what is
was
a man.
a human, and where does
Right.
that line get drawn, and he can override the protocols. But like again, Joel Kinnaman to me doesn't sell any of this. Like I wish there was a better actor.
I do wish he was
here.
strong. I think if you replace the family and Kinnaman, unfortunately,
Yeah,
this is a
if
strong
you
movie.
replace the main characters of the movie, it would be a better movie.
Well, I would say, and also I just don't
That's
think
the problem
Kinnaman's
here.
not as, I don't know. He wasn't
not-
that bad to me,
sorry,
but I agree with you for sure that he could have been better.
Who were we talking about where we watched a movie where we were like, they were grooming him? Not Garrett Hedlund, but he was an example of like an actor that they're like clearly trying to make an
Garrett
action
Hedlund?
star.
No, yeah,
No,
yeah.
there was another.
Oh, Avatar, man.
Yes.
Who's in Avatar? The main guy. Fuck,
Yeah.
Jake Sully. But he was that guy for a while. They were trying to make him like a leading man. But even I actually will give Kinnaman a little bit more credit than that. Like I feel like he's actually been in a lot more things.
So-
even recently.
RoboCop is his debut.
Oh, really?
It is. He has a lot of stuff.
So he
before
was a
then.
no-name before
he's
that.
He's a Swedish actor.
Yeah.
But
Oh, is he? Okay.
So RoboCop is his first thing. He goes on to do a series called The Killing. Night
I knew
of
he was
Cops,
right. Yeah, I knew he was
He's
right.
Run All
tall as
Night,
fuck, too.
Child 44, and then Suicide Squad. He's in House of Cards. He's in Altered Carbon.
Again,
A few
I
other
think he's
things.
definitely
Maybe,
grown.
I don't want to shit on him because
No,
I think
I-
he's a fine actor, but I just don't think he's good in
But
this
no,
movie.
I agree with you. I do think like he wasn't nearly as compelling as I think he needed to be, and I think that's only amplified by his bad family.
So the
I
only-
actually think if you had two better actors even there, that might have helped his
Well,
performance
I
too.
would have loved if he would have come into that house scene and there was like some sort of like remember when he goes to the house and he's like, oh, you
Yeah.
know, oh, I gotta go now. They still gotta work on me.
Yeah.
Like, what if they were like actually trying to be a family again,
Right.
and then they start to delete his memories and emotions? Like, I just so many missed opportunities to make this something that would be really interesting.
exactly, and I think that's the start of what that could have been because I think that makes sense as the first scene.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't stay here. All my shit's at the police station.
This doesn't even seem like a problem with the writing. Like I'm curious, like what the, like
They just
maybe
feel like
it seems like a problem
Studio
with like
interference.
could be.
And this, so they won. I mean,
the
the
studio?
director, the studio was
MGM, because at the beginning of the movie with the roar of the lion, it's
Yeah.
Samuel
Oh, that
Jackson's
was horrible,
voice.
by the
I
way.
thought something
What
was
a-
wrong.
what
I thought
a
I was watching like a dub. I was
What,
like,
what a shitty start.
I agree. I
what is
really-
he? It's fucking Samuel
Samuel
Jackson
Jackson
like
going
like
"Ugh."
you know doing the like, you know the fucking
Believe me, me, my mo, me, my mo,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the warm ups.
Yeah, yeah.
and
I
I
was thinking of,
literally was like,
Anchorman.
is this a joke version? Like, did I watch like a dubbed version?
Dude,
Like,
Am I getting
questioned
fucked
it
with?
too.
and then when I saw what it was, I
knew the
groaned.
opening, I
was
guess,
like,
so I
oh,
didn't
come
even think
on.
about it. Yeah.
I
That took me out of it
but like
immediately. I
that,
didn't
the
like
Novak
it.
element stuff didn't really work for me.
And that's
I
again
I wish
where-
it did. I wish
I think
it
it's
did.
a miscast of Samuel Jackson.
Yeah, it's fun. I don't know. It works as the setup to the world for me, and then I don't feel like we need to go back to it. Like,
If it was just at the beginning,
that's what
think
I
it would've
mean.
worked.
I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
like, and again, they're trying to do the news
News
clip
elements,
stuff
yeah.
and whatever, and I think it makes
Right,
the
the
idea
live,
of making
yeah.
it like this O'Reilly factor
But-
thing is sound in theory.
But in the first one,
Yeah.
the news segments are set dressing. It's
Right.
just to show the world. There's really no point. You can take those out and they'll
Right.
remove the
Right,
plot.
right,
the
right,
new-
right.
This is like a major
It's
plot.
world building.
Yeah,
Whereas
it's,
this-
it's like, hey, we're telling you like what the world
setting up
is,
where we
and
are.
I'm a character that's influential in this world to like steer it, which I guess again is a modern take on what they were doing in the 80s, right? But there's just so
Because
many
the
ways to
O'Reilly
do
factor was
it
a
better,
thing, yeah.
right? Yeah, it's obviously a stand for the O'Reilly
Yeah.
factor, right? Like that's clearly what they were doing. Samuel
and I
Jackson
feel like they
feels
do that a lot
miscast.
more. It's funny because like even in like the boys and stuff, they obviously do like you're like the obvious influences
Yeah.
of those. But like this was one of the first times I feel like I now remember seeing it, which
Yeah.
is so interesting. But yeah, I don't know. I think
Just seeing them in
it's so-
being so weirdly relevant to modern events.
it
is
almost
really
does kind of make
maybe uncomfortable.
I think that's actually made me like it more in the way of like
Maybe.
it feels relevant, and I'm surprised at how relevant it's.
Why does the RoboCop remake feel relevant?
Yeah. It feels relevant even in the weird way. Like
I know.
RoboCop 1 is still relevant, which
Yes.
is wild. And that's an accomplishment. I don't know if RoboCop 2014 will be relevant in 20 years.
It's
but
relevant now.
but it's fucking relevant
I'm
now.
having a conflict because I feel like watching the movie I was lower on it, and I feel like talking about the movie I'm higher on it. But
You're
if I
allowed
were
to change
if
your
I were
opinion. You can change, you know?
no, like yeah, I'm fine with it, but like what I'm saying is like us talking about how the movie could be better is making me like the movie more, not the actual movie itself.
But the movie that you're coming up in your head, you like a lot.
Yeah,
that's what
yeah.
I would say. Like this
I mean,
RoboCop
this is-
4 that
this
I
is
have in my
happening.
I don't
mind.
think we've
like-
been really even saying that. I don't know. I think we've been talking. I feel like we've been
We've
talking
been
about
pretty
some of the
positive,
elements.
actually,
Yeah,
about
like
it.
Yeah, there is a lot of good and a lot of bad.
I'm
It's-
going to tell you where this is at for me right now.
I'm
This is a
curious.
high tier movie for me.
High
I
tier-
actually
high tier
enjoy.
movie.
I enjoy, and I think that does come from the fact that I watched this not full, and I'm not fully really understanding at the time why I loved RoboCop 1, and then now coming back to it, I'm like, it's a fun action romp. I wish there was better casting, but I think it's like if you were going to take a straight shot, down the line look at this type of movie or attempt at this
really having
movie,
a crisis of conscience here.
I think it's what you're gonna get.
This is either a
What would a
high-
Tarantino RoboCop look like?
This is what I'm talking about,
Yeah,
though.
like-
Like, so
Probably
to
calling
me,
someone the
as it
N-word.
sits,
Yeah.
as it sits, the final product that we got that I watched is a high tier flick, low tier movie.
Okay.
It's somewhere
Kinda where
in
I'm
there.
at with
The
it.
version
Yeah.
that exists,
Right.
is that. The version in my brain is a high tier movie. The version that could have been is like this really cool reimagining that like is a legacy sequel and takes itself more seriously. But like all of these elements as we talk about them, I'm like, there is something here. They don't weave it together in a way that I feel makes a satisfying movie, let alone a satisfying RoboCop remake.
Sure.
So
And that's where I'm at.
So
with it.
I actually, for the first time ever doing a rewind review, I mean, we've done Harry Potter. I definitely had RoboCop fatigue watching this.
Yes.
Okay.
I
yeah.
felt a bit tired.
Yeah.
of
I did in
RoboCop.
3.
It was
big-
funny.
big
My
time
wife
in
walked in.
3.
She's like, "Are you watching RoboCop again?" I'm like, "This is the reboot." Thank you
Honey,
very much.
honey, get the
Oh my
fuck
God,
out.
this is a TV
Get
series.
the fuck
Next,
out. I'm watching RoboCop.
Don't look at me. Don't look at me.
Yeah, I really felt. I'm like, wow, I'm kind of tired of RoboCop.
Yeah, I'm
after
done with
this.
RoboCop.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay, wait.
I
hold
will.
on.
I'm gonna finish unfinished business because I still haven't finished that. But
Yeah, I'm like,
Hold
because
on,
I
though.
wanted to play the game, and I'm like, maybe I'd give it some space.
I think that's not a bad
You
idea.
know what's crazy though, and I'm not even kidding. After watching this movie, I immediately put the first one back on. I like immediately
What a
was like,
fucking-
Just
damn.
wanted to cleanse,
You know
yeah.
what's better than this? RoboCop. And like,
that for a dog.
I didn't watch the whole thing. I
Right,
put
yeah,
it on.
yeah.
I skipped around. I skimmed around a little bit, and I was just like, God damn, man! The scene at the end where he's got the spike and he kills Red Foreman, and just like so much of like the
When the
scene where he
man
gets
melts and
mess
explodes.
I'm like, God damn! I love RoboCop.
Lewis
like,
sucked. Who's
Who?
that actor?
He's
dead
from
now.
the Shield, I think.
Yeah,
in The
he
Wire.
just
Or The
was a
Wire.
nothing.
I just felt like I'm
was
like,
just a
dude,
nothing, really.
This was such a man. It just seemed like, and like I thought, I'm like, oh, they killed Lewis, like right in the beginning,
Right.
like they mentioned
Yeah.
her. Nope.
I think the biggest problem with it for me is that he's just not really that involved.
No.
Like he doesn't really
No.
get like any really type of characterization. I don't think I think you can make him a
It seems
dude.
like something like
but,
that, looked good on paper again, and then
Right.
like when they got to
Why
execution,
the
it's
gen-
like,
why the
what
gen-
is Lewis even
Why
doing?
the gender swap? I'm just curious. Like,
I mean, and race
what-
swap.
Yeah,
I guess do you
why?
I don't
why?
know.
Not that I'm not really offended by the race swap, but it just doesn't feel right.
I'm not even offended by the. So with the.
It's just more of a why.
I
Like,
liked
what,
it-
what,
I
what was
liked
the
it. I
inclination
what I
there?
liked
Lewis
about the
being a
first-
girl, like
what I liked
something
about-
Especially
about
at that
it.
time. It was
Because
palpable.
what I liked about the first RoboCop, Lewis being a girl, is that like they set up like two partners that don't like really know each other. They go on this mission, something crazy happens, and like then she becomes invested. At no point is she trying to like
It's platonic.
have sex with RoboCop, right?
Right.
So like the idea that there's this like platonic
And they're not
female
buddy
male-
buddy.
right? But
They
she
become-
does save him.
I was gonna say,
At
they
the end
feel
of the
buddy,
fir-
buddy,
no, at the end
buddy,
of the
yeah.
first one, she's the one who saves him and gets him out.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why the gender swap? The race swap, whatever, but like. The gender swap for me, I'm like, there was something really interesting
Yeah, dude.
about having
So-
to be a
I'm
woman.
glad you agree.
So my
But
my thought on that is
they do become buddy at the end,
Yeah.
but like before, like I feel like Lewis becomes more connected to Murphy post death,
Yeah.
and I feel like Joel
she
and
sees what they did to
and,
him, yeah,
and,
really, yeah.
and I forget the actor's name. They're buds, they're
Yeah.
boys, they're
well, that's
partners.
that's
I
the
didn't
thing.
like
They've been
him.
around-
I didn't like either of them before they became RoboCop. Like, I just really
They definitely felt
so
like guys who
bland.
at least were more from the way they were talking, especially like they feel like they were
Oh,
guys who
we're
grew up in
police.
Detroit. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I don't. It felt a bit more natural in that way to me. But I don't know. I think the thing with Lewis, especially in the original, I do think that was very subversive. Obviously, like having a female partner that is a completely platonic relationship.
Yes.
and I don't think that's. Maybe this is my thought process. Maybe them in the room, like that's not that big of a subversive thing anymore. So maybe let's just kind of try to do our own thing
still liked it.
and cast who we think.
But why
is-
call him Lewis? Why call him Alex Murphy? Why is this a RoboCop remake? Goes back to my original point. Like, if you're
yeah, I don't know.
when these characters show up,
It's a reinterpretation.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I feel like again, I don't know. It doesn't feel that
I think
disconnected
you're
to
just
me.
too like.
And I understand why.
I'm gonna critique you.
I'm too
You're
nostalgic and bought
you're
into
too
the
close.
original RoboCop. I'm too
Yeah.
close to the material.
But I get that. But that's
that's
understandable.
how I feel.
Yeah,
about
I
it.
think it is understandable. But
I
like,
want to disconnect it so I can like the movie better. But
But-
when they call this person Lewis, I'm like, that's not Lewis.
I would
This
feel
isn't Alex Murphy.
You two are more in line with that. Like, I'm actually surprised you're not offended like he is.
Yeah. No,
because you
I'm-
like RoboCop a lot.
Yeah.
I'm pretty new to this
Everyone's
franchise.
allowed to have a different opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everyone has them and they all stink. No,
I almost said every opinions are like assholes, but I didn't want to call you an asshole.
we have
no,
been,
it's okay. We all
we have been pretty agreeable throughout this whole
Yeah.
thing. I
Yeah.
feel like this is the first movie where we're like actually have some like pretty diverse sets of opinions, which
Yes.
is good. I mean, but like, you know, we yeah. Even maybe with 2, but you know,
I
like
don't
again,
hate this
the
movie.
more we talk about this, I'm like, is it better than 2? Because I would have said 1, 2, remake 3, but I'm kind of now like
I think it is above 2 for me, just in the
Yeah.
fact of that it at least tries to do something different.
But like I rated 2 higher.
I was about to
There's
address
something-
that.
There's something weird.
I'm
here.
going to
That's a
rate.
weird
I
thing.
think I rated. I rated the first one 5 stars, the second one 3 stars, the third one 1.5, and this one 2. However, if you were to ask me to rank the movies, I would put this above 2 because I think it's more interesting than 2.
Yeah.
I'm not going to change my rating.
I think I might change my letterbox right now.
I'm not going to change my rating on the movie. I'm still going to give it 2 stars
Sure.
because I think it misses too much. I don't think it's a good movie. I didn't hate it. I would watch it again before watching 2 or 3 because I think that there's something here.
Something there.
I think the fact that it doesn't connect for me is why I'm rating it low, and I'm so frustrated with it more than I am. Whereas, like I've said this during the 2 discussion, 2 is very boring to me.
Yeah.
I always my mind drifts during that
and
movie.
I would agree. Yeah.
3 is very boring to me. This is not boring. I want this to
No,
be
it's-
good.
it's not.
It's just not good, and I want
It's
it
not
to
hitting
be
the things
good.
that you really feel like this movie should.
There's so
Right,
much
like, it's-
potential that is not reached in this movie,
Right.
and that is frustrating to me, and that's why I rate it lower. So I'm not changing my rankings, but I would if you were to ask me to rank the movies.
I officially changed my list. You can follow me.
Did you change your
rank?
ranking though? Did you change your star ranking from a
No,
2? Yeah,
no.
and that's what I'm saying. Like, even though I'm still going to keep it at a lower star than 2, I would rank this above
I don't think
2.
I've ever.
I've never done that, but I'm doing
Yeah,
it
this
for
is
this.
really weird.
I'm doing it. Can I say?
Because yeah, I mean that's my.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of my ranking as well. And I
well, I go RoboCop reboot, RoboCop 1. No,
then 3, then 2.
no, I'm sorry, yeah,
I'll
Robo-
never watch 1 again.
that's
Yeah.
disgusting. Ew, too much blood. No,
Ew, the part where his brains get blown off. I didn't like that part. It was
no.
gross. No, thank you. Ugh,
I do. I wish I
violence.
brought my notepad though, because I did have some other stuff on there where it's just like
I have a really
little things.
I have a really random note.
Please.
Really, really random. I don't think you're gonna hit in your fun
no,
facts.
do it.
There's an ED209 sound effect that I swear to God is ripped off the Striders from Half-Life 2.
Really?
Yes. When it goes, "Rrrr," it's the sound when the Striders get blown up in Half-Life 2 and they hit the ground. I'm like, that is the same sound effect. I think it's altered, but I'm like, they pulled that from a sound effect
Interesting.
library.
Could be.
I wrote down ED209 sound effects sounds like it's from Half-Life 2. So that was a weird thing.
There's your fun fact.
There's
There
your
you
fun
go.
fact.
But Trio, do you
I
want?
didn't hate the ED209.
I'm interested to hear what
let's hear
comes
the
out
fun
of this.
facts.
Yeah. No, honestly, there wasn't like a lot, but there was enough. And I will say, I like the overall designs of all the robots. Very iRobot. That's a very
Yeah, it
good.
feels very
pull back.
iRobot.
That's a good.
I
In a
love
long
iRobot.
robot.
by
I
the
do
way.
too.
That's
I'm a
really
big-
good
That's a
movie.
great movie when it came out. It's like, holy shit, it's Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
in the
That's so
beginning
funny,
of it.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Smith, what a guy.
So we did give all our rankings. We're all good. Everything. We can move into fun facts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So a few possible castings here for you guys that did not end up panning out. They wanted Edward Norton as Dr. Norton, but Gary Oldman's character.
No. Gary Oldman in this actually I think was really, really good. I've said this a
think-
couple
I think a
times.
Him and Keaton are, I think,
really
the
stars
stars.
in
type
this movie.
casting from Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah. Honestly,
I-
it's just funny that his name's also Dr. Norton to me.
Yeah. No, I legitimately like Gary Oldman in this movie. Like, legitimately, I think that his character arc is really interesting. I think his motives are really interesting. I like Gary Oldman overall. I think that was very good casting.
I totally agree. Sean Penn as Novak. As the
I think that would have
show
been
guy.
better than
I think it might have worked a little
I
bit
think that
better.
would have been
I
better.
don't really like Sean Penn.
I think he would have been
he's fine
better in that role than Samuel
Yeah.
Jackson. I think Samuel Jackson was too Samuel L. Jackson for that role.
He's an odd guy.
And then
He
you
is
bleep
an
the
icon.
curse. And
Yeah.
it's like, then why did you cast Samuel
What's that
Jackson?
scene from that movie that he's in? That's like I've seen. He's like she asks him something. He's like, you know what I'm
I
talking
can't
about?
remember, but I feel
yeah,
like
he
I do,
says
yeah.
something. Maybe I'll jerk off. or
See,
something.
it's funny to me with that bleep in that scene though too, because like that's actually what makes the scene kind of work for me, weirdly enough, because it is like within the context of it. But I understand.
I disagree.
You need to
with
hear
you,
the
sir.
the motherfucker
And,
from.
and if I disagree with you, it means you're wrong.
no,
so
well, and they should be able to say, "Oh no, I guess they can't say."
on
you can
cable,
say-
you can
you get one fuck in a PG.
Yeah, one fucking PG-13 movie,
one
but it
fucking
can't be
PG-13.
pertaining to sex.
Yeah,
So
it
I
can't
can
be
say
like,
"fuck you,"
fuck
but I
me,
can't say
fuck me, Alex.
right. Exactly.
Can
Gooch
you
got it.
imagine if that was that scene at the beginning? It's just like a softcore porn scene, and it's like,
oh, this is really
why
turning
it's rated R, but they
Do
bleep
you like
Samuel
the
Jackson.
Detroit Red Wings reference? I thought that was interesting.
was pretty good,
Do you have-
yeah.
I wonder if you have to pay them. to
Probably.
say that?
I'm sure, or yeah, there's something
Probably.
like that.
Oh, like the
or no,
Red
they
Wings
might
things.
pay to get. I don't know how that works because it's like
I think
product
it's
placement.
I think it's like a
Well,
sponsorship.
they
Yeah.
don't show a logo. They just say Red Wings. They don't say Detroit Red
Yeah.
Wings.
I think you're allowed to say, like, if someone goes into a movie and says, "Oh yeah, the Philadelphia Eagles," I think you're allowed to say that. I think you can't show the logo or say like "Go Birds." Like, I
Well,
think it's
like the Always Sunny felt the Fanatic.
which is so funny. At the end of that episode, he goes, "He's not actually called the Fanatic. He's called the Fanatic, but I can't say that. We're gonna get sued." And then they take him out of the courtroom. I'm like, "Oh, that's great. That's great. I love Sunny. I'm a huge
Fanatic.
Sunny fan. The Fanatic. He punches him in the face." That guy's beating up the Fanatic. Is that a hate crime? I don't know. You want to kick his ass anyway? I just watched all of Sunny again.
Continue, sir.
I've watched Sunny so many times.
Oh, okay. So yeah, as I mentioned earlier, this was not the first attempt at a RoboCop reboot. Sony Pictures Screen Gem announced it was working on a new film in 2005, but progress was slow. Darren Aronofsky was eventually attached to direct to the project until it was put on hold in 2010, and then things shuffled and he ended up dropping out.
Sounds like a Flash situation.
Yeah. So, director, yeah, for sure. Director Jose Padilla and Joel Kinnaman fought hard for an R rating, but the studio mandated a PG-13.
That sucks, man.
After the budget ballooned from 60 million to 100 million. So they were like,
Yeah.
we need to make our money back, and fuck you guys. I'd be curious what an R-rated version of this looks like. Genuinely,
Yeah, I would
like,
too.
what does that change?
Yeah.
Aside from the obvious
at
violence.
least they didn't cut the whole movie apart. I actually think I prefer the fact that they
Shot it as PG-13 versus cut it as PG-13.
yes.
Well, and I honestly, they might have been shooting some for R and then had to cut it, but I think overall that is what happened. So Paul Verhoeven, director of course, the original RoboCop, was skeptical of the remake, saying that it was typical of the lack of fresh ideas in Hollywood. He was even less impressed with the finished movie, commenting that just like Total Recall, it lacked the humor that made the original work so well. Again, I don't think the humor is the element for me that's the missing thing. I don't
is
know.
for me.
Yeah,
I mean,
don't know.
it's missing, but it's definitely they're definitely not trying to be funny.
Yeah, well, and I think that's what he's saying. I think he's saying they should have tried to go for the
I
humorous
would agree
element.
with
I was
Paul
kind of
Verhoeven.
surprised maybe they didn't have Peter Weller in for a cameo or something.
Yeah, I was surprised to see that too, actually.
I don't think I'm curious if they asked him.
I'm
I remember
curious
he
what he
was asked
thinks.
about it at the time, and he gave a
Yeah,
similar
I'm
answer.
sure he's like I'm sure he's never seen it.
Yeah, and I mean he plays him obviously in the game now.
Yeah,
So
which is cool. Of
Yeah,
Peter Weller.
that
Again,
is very
I think Peter Weller is a class act.
He really is.
I really do. I think that everything that I've learned about him through this research and watching him in these movies, I'm like, I think he's a really classy guy.
I would love. That's one I would love to. If he was at a con,
I
or
would
something,
love to meet Peter
I would
Weller.
love to.
I would
to meet
love
Peter
to.
Weller.
Weller. Let's talk about RoboCop.
So I'm sure you guys saw this. It's on screen for a good 5 seconds. I mean, probably 10 seconds. We get a quick cameo of Robo's original design from the first RoboCop in
Yes.
Sellers' office.
Yep.
It's when they're going through the
And what he can
focus
do.
group tested
Yep.
ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, make him black. I'm like, no, don't make him fucking black.
Yeah,
Goddamn.
I hate. He's like, oh yeah, paint him black.
Racist.
I'm like,
No, I just don't like the color. Okay, wait.
no, I actually don't like the way the black suit looks at all.
It just blends everything
I,
together.
I
like
don't
I said.
mind it. I don't mind
I
it.
don't think it looks like. I don't hate it.
It's very,
I just don't like
it's
it.
very
It's
It's Dark
not
Knight.
I mean,
RoboCop.
no, not Dark Knight. Deus Ex.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'd actually agree with that.
I saw a lot of.
There's
I'm
a
sure-
little bit of almost Geiger in it too. There's a bit of bio kind of mechanical-ish to it in some places.
the prosthetic part. I'm like, oh, this reminds you of Deus Ex a lot because that's kind of what they dipped into with the human augmentation in that game. But go ahead.
So Joel Kinnaman reflected on this film back in 2023, saying,
Oh,
quote,
interesting.
Cool.
"The one thing I think was lacking in the film, I like to be self-critical. I think that it was one of those films where I think this is a long quote." Where when we made it, we didn't fully take into account what RoboCop was to the fans. Tonally, that's sort of Verhoeven satire. because it's so ingrained in the RoboCop franchise and its being. It's different when a new filmmaker comes in and puts his voice on it, and director Jose Padilla had a very clear image of what he wanted to do. It was an anti-imperialistic take, and I think that movie would have done better if we had listened to more of what the fans had to say beforehand. But it stands alone. I almost think the RoboCop film we did would have been a better movie if it wouldn't have been named RoboCop.
Joel Kinnaman agrees with Evan Moore.
I actually didn't read the full quote.
I am Evan Moore, and I endorse this message.
I think that's very honestly
That is-
self-reflective of Kinnaman.
Literally what I said.
I
at the
wish
beginning
more
of this.
actors would talk.
It's very self-reflective, and I gotta give him credit on that.
Like, it's not a horrible movie. It could have been better.
It could have been worse.
And I
It
It could have
really
easily
could've
been
been
way
worse.
worse.
because again, I don't really like. I think Joel Kinnaman is fine in this movie. I think he is a bit inexperienced, and I think
That
again
probably
in
shows,
hindsight,
yeah.
he's got much more experience in 2023. This
I
is
would have loved
a
to
few
see
years
now-
after the Suicide Squad and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and like he's great in those movies.
I'd
and
be
even in
curious to
Peacemaker.
see current day Joel Kinnaman in this role right now
Yeah.
to see what he would do.
I would
different.
like to see him in another action film. I think he was great in Altered Carbon. That second season is,
Yeah,
is,
shit,
a, is a
unfortunate,
whole
but-
other debacle.
yeah.
But like, I think Joel Kinnaman still could like be in a new action movie and like really helm it
I agree.
well.
I
mean, he kind of helms the Suicide Squad. I would
Yeah.
say
The
Both
first,
of them.
yeah, I'd say the second one a bit more. The
Yeah.
first one's a bit more
The
like
second one
Harley.
is infinitely better than the first.
Oh,
one,
yeah,
in
of course.
every way, shape, and form.
And even his
Big
characterization
fan
in
of
the second one is much better.
I would love to see the Ayer cut of the Suicide Squad. Just saying.
I would too. Actually, that's a whole.
Of course,
discussion.
I mean,
actually would
genuinely,
to
yeah,
see
like-
what the studio, because that the studios basically just cut that movie into a trailer.
I mean, you could see the progression from the first trailer, like to the last trailer.
Correct.
It's like, yeah, I mean,
And the
that's all.
joke is
Yeah,
on me.
like that first trailer could have been, could have been cool.
I want to rewatch that trailer tonight.
So-
that first Suicide Squad trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be curious.
Epic trailer.
And then they just
That
ruined it
era
by
of
doing
DC had great trailers. All Zack Snyder trailers, great. Sorry.
I agree. No, I mean, yeah, I totally agree. Gary Oldman on why he took the part of RoboCop in 2014.
Old.
Quote, why am I in this movie? Money. I'm at the mercy of what the industry is making and what comes
actually
through my
said
door.
this?
Yeah. But then he goes on to say, but I thought it was an intelligent script and I loved Jose's point of view. So I watched he was joke. He's like, the money, but like he was
It
like
was a
I thought-
job, of course, as actors
Yeah.
do, and I feel like a lot of actors are like, it is a job at the end of the
But
day.
again, like this movie is not a steaming pile of garbage, right?
No.
No, it's not. I don't
It
like
has
it.
redemption to
Yeah.
it, and I can see that if you're reading the script and you read that character, especially that Gary Oldman was
Yeah.
playing, you're like,
It's a-
oh,
this
there's
is
something,
compelling.
There's
It's a
something
good
here.
2-star movie. It's
That's
really,
what I'm saying.
interesting.
Like it's a
It's-
2-star.
I guess if I had to star it, I hate the star rating. I gotta
probably
say,
go
but
with-
I guess we'd go like 3.5.
Every movie,
4
every movie
at
is
the
different.
most.
No,
yeah,
like I'm not rating like Tron Ares and sentimental value the
Yeah.
same like
Right.
5-star.
Right.
You know?
It's just like I said that when we were talking about RoboCop. I said that like for me, the two examples I always use is Wizard of Oz and Return of the Living Dead are both 5-star movies. That doesn't mean they're comparable to each other.
No,
it just
they're
means
not.
that in their context and what they are, they're 5-star movies. To me, this still stands as a 2-star movie because one, in context, it's a RoboCop remake.
right.
Two, even out of that context, it is not connecting really interesting ideas the way it needs to. I see, if I squint at this movie, there's something really cool here.
Yeah.
And something that I want to like. That I went into this thinking I would absolutely hate it because I hated it the first time I saw it because I just dismissed it.
Yeah.
When I saw it again, I went, I kind of like what they're trying to do.
And you can
I
see
just don't
why they
think that
would
do
want to
it.
make it too. Like you can see
Yes.
in the brainchild room, you're like, this could be something, right?
Where
like we
his-
could,
where
yeah.
his- the brainchild room,
Right,
where his brain
and-
is
and
out.
yeah, when his
When
brain's
they're
out.
I like when they're operating on his brain. Like there's
Again,
cool,
they
there's
do
cool
like when
moments,
they
yeah.
do start peeling away. It's like, oh, it's not. Oh no.
Like it's more.
Oh, it's his
more.
lungs.
Like,
yeah,
It's
okay,
his
got
lungs
it.
and a head.
It's great.
and
It
a
had-
hand.
My hand.
Yeah. And then I think this is my favorite fun fact and very emblematic of IMDb fun fact sometimes. So in the original 1987 film, Alex Murphy was killed by gunshots. In the remake, Alex Murphy gets killed by a car bomb.
That is correct.
That's the fun fact.
That's correct. That
And
is a
that's the
fact.
last one I have.
Wow. Yes, that is very correct. Good job. Man.
Wait, stop. That's a fact.
That is a fact.
I don't know how fun
that
it
is
is,
a
but
fact.
it's a fact, all right.
There's so many of those types of things on IMDb. It's so
Because
funny.
anyone can
yeah,
put
you just
anything
put
on
yeah.
IMDb.
This has been an interesting rewind review.
I'm very
I
glad
feel
we
that.
did it. I'm
Yeah,
genuine. I'm happy
yeah.
we finally
I'm
got
glad
to
we
it.
did it too. I'm glad.
The last,
I got the RoboCop
the
movies
middle
under
was
my belt.
3 was a slog for me. I think overall, I actually wasn't bored of RoboCop by the end. I am excited to actually jump back into unfinished business and finish it off.
I want to check
But-
out the game. I do want to check out the comic. Not anytime soon.
I really would be curious
I
what you
really do have robot fatigue.
Robot cop fatigue.
Fucking clankers.
Do they call him RoboCop
do
in
have
this movie?
RoboCop fatigue.
Do they call him RoboCop ever in this movie?
Yes.
When? I'm trying to.
Is
Is it?
he
But
does.
like, is he? Oh
They
wait,
don't call him. Yeah, they do.
it's when he says
Novak.
"good cop, RoboCop."
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then
something like that.
Novak does say it.
And then they call him Robot Cop.
Again,
Yeah.
they should have
Tin
named. That's
Man.
another thing.
Tin Man.
I actually like the Tin Man, and
You're a
then when
Tin
he
Man,
goes to
do it. Tin Man.
and then when he goes to do the actual thing and he's
come
doing
on,
the training
Tin
and he's
Man, yeah.
playing
Are
the
you-
Tin Man song,
yeah.
I like that.
Are you aware that what that quote is from?
I've heard that quote. I don't know what it's from.
BioShock Infinite. There's a Cornelia Slate.
You should do it.
I
Come
always
on.
say. I feel like that's something me and Trio. Like I said to Trio.
I
throughout
feel
the
like I've
years.
heard you say it
You
before.
probably have.
And
Tin Man, do it.
that's I feel like
Man.
I've heard you make that joke.
I'm
and that's-
sure.
Really?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised, honestly.
I don't know why I would just say that.
I do. Yeah.
Somebody
There's probably been context on here or something. I'm sure.
Overall, with these movies, right? So this is my final thought on RoboCop overall. So the first movie exists on its own pedestal in its own world. To me, that is an important film. It's weird to
perfect
say
film.
it's a perfect film. It's weird for me to say that because like it's this beautiful satire. It's wonderfully shot. It's wonderfully acted and written. It's a great film. It's one of my favorite movies. 2, unnecessary sequel, but okay. 3, boring slog. Remake. You tried.
Right.
You tried. You tried. And it could be a lot worse than it is, and it could be a hell of a lot better.
I'll say I think the problem is here that RoboCop was never an IP, and they tried to make it an IP,
And I agree with
it
that.
doesn't really work out.
Wholeheartedly agree with
But
that.
like the original is good, but like when you try to make it into something more, maybe it's not great. But apparently, the game, the Rogue City and Unfinished Business are good. So maybe I'm wrong in the context of film, but it could work.
There was a whole toy line. There's a comic, but there's comic books. There's a TV show. Like this goes beyond the 4 movies
right,
that
but
we watched.
this is what happened with everything. And
I was going to say, it's a successful IP at the time.
Which again
It
is
just
funny
was gonna
because the
happen.
first movie is kind of spoofing that whole
Right,
idea.
it's making fun of
It's making fun of this like
yeah.
overly corporate product-y thing, and then it becomes that, and that kind of
Right.
dilutes the thing.
Trio, this was your idea. Any takeaways?
No, man, it just was a fantastic time. I really do appreciate you guys sitting down for all 4 of these with me.
Yeah.
Like I said, I know a couple of them might have been a bit of a slog. But I think my overall takeaway from this is like, I don't think it necessarily couldn't have been a franchise. I just don't think it was even really given especially with the 2 follow-ups. It wasn't really given even a fair attempt to try and make it into anything different. Like they just were like, we're just going to do the same thing over again for some reason.
But worse.
And worse. And it's just like, there wasn't even an attempt to try and change up the formula. And that's why I think I appreciate the
agree with
reboot
you.
so much.
I agree with
That
you.
they at least were like, all right, we're going in a different direction. It does feel still like RoboCop to me, at least for the most part. There are some glaring issues, of course, but overall, I just appreciate a different stab. And I think, I love RoboCop as an icon, obviously. Just that suit in itself is just so iconic. And the series is, it's just diminishing returns. But the first one is a perfect film. I could watch it. It's easily in my top 5 films, period. I think.
Yeah, I would almost agree with you.
Maybe even top 3. But I'd have to
it's way the fuck up there for me. It's definitely my top 10, maybe my top 5 movies of all time.
I could watch RoboCop 1 tonight and then watch it again tomorrow.
Which is why I have so many problems with the next 3 movies in the series.
And again, like
And you're right. I'm 2 in it.
I mean, which is fine.
Yeah.
But I understand, sometimes you have that type of connection with something. I get it.
It's funny, like looking back at like something like BVS, especially as I feel like it's that Snyder, the fanaticism
The
is
era,
kind of gone.
Sure.
In a way, I've never rewatched the Snyder cut. That's something I'm like really in. I'm looking forward to eventually going back to rewatch the Snyder cut and like kind of like re-examine it at like and really like in this post kind of state that we're in, where like
when
the
you
DC
remove yourself from the hype or
Right.
the emotion of something.
Even at the moment.
right.
Right. Yeah.
There was so much emotion in that. Even like something like Endgame, or I'm trying to think, or like Tron. I don't even. think.
Endgame's a good one to go back and say, does this feel as big as it felt when
Because part of it was the event, being in the
Yes.
theater, for sure.
Yeah.
with the signatures on screen and
Right.
everything? Like it had
There-
this big.
Even just being in the crowd, like
Yes.
when this crazy shit happens.
There's no problem with being into something and then being like disappointed with the rest. I mean, like I think that kind of makes sense. I think it's good that you like.
Self-reflective. Or
No,
even not even
no.
self-reflective, like,
I think it's good that you can get that into something in general. I mean, I know that's what we do on this podcast a lot, but like especially as a guest, this isn't your show, but it's cool that like I can bring on a guest who is way more connected to this series than I am, and that's kind of like the purpose about bringing someone.
I was
like
gonna
you
say,
on.
yeah, that's kind of the whole
It's because
point.
like I'm like, oh, I did not originally think I'm like, oh, you know what I think of when I think of Evan Moore? RoboCop. Like not really.
No, that's
but like I'm like I feel like I'm like Evan would be good for this, and you were. So
Well, I
I
appreciate that.
I
Yeah,
really
no, this was
we
awesome.
appreciate you coming on.
I appreciate
4
being
podcasts
here.
is a lot.
No,
yeah, it is.
I appreciate being here. It was a really fun time. I feel like I learned a lot about this series. I think to
And
your
that was
point,
part of my goal. Truly.
I don't regret. I said during the RoboCop 3, I regret watching this. I don't regret watching RoboCop 3. I think it's cool to see.
He's a liar.
I lied to you. I just think it's cool to see like the way that a series progresses, the way that like studios get involved and change, and like I'm someone who's obsessed with like the passage of time and like the way that things stand and change and context change. Like I love old architecture and buildings and stuff like that for that reason. It's like, and to see a monolith of culture like RoboCop and to go back to the source and then see like where everything is coming out of, like I feel, and then looking at it in the context of the world that we live in now and you know what it was satirizing at the time and how it could be applied now. I think it's just a very interesting exercise. I think this was actually a very good movie and series to look at in 2026.
I completely agree.
really
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. Cool.
And again, it is fun. Like RoboCop being the reboot being set in 2028 is another part. It's just like, oh.
Guess
And
we're
then
gonna
it
have
does
to-
feel-
guess we're
they're
gonna
at
have to
war
re-review it in
Yeah.
with
2028.
Iran.
Yeah, like
in that
it
movie, I
is
was like,
hitting
oh my
so
God.
close to home in a lot of weird ways.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, another reason why, like, I do think, you know, we talked about RoboCop being a timeless movie. I think he's a timeless character in the way of like, maybe you could have someone of that era who was a real auteur come in and make that era's RoboCop and have it be of that time and satirize that time or commentate on that time. But I don't know. I really don't.
What I wish the remake was.
Right.
I wish the remake was a Paul Verhoeven level director coming in and saying, I'm
Putting their
looking at
stamp
the
on it.
world in 2014 and I'm making a RoboCop here. And there's just too much studio involvement and too much smearing of the emotions and just there's not enough connective tissue to really make it work. And I would have loved to see that movie in the hands of a more skilled filmmaker.
I agree with you. And it is funny how they accidentally did make it relevant again. Though, right?
that-
You know what I
yes,
mean? Like it is
absolutely.
like, it's just like,
Oh
wow.
yeah, okay. So this is a kind of a closing thought.
Yeah,
but like
please.
people always say the words or the term. It's as relevant today as it was 40 years ago.
Sure. Yeah.
Or no, sorry. It's more. I screwed that up. It's more relevant now than it was 40 years ago. It's even more relevant now. It's not more relevant now. It's as relevant.
just as
now.
relevant,
It's just as relevant now. Things have not changed that much in society between when RoboCop 1 was made to now. So when you look at it, you go, "Wow, it's even more relevant." It's just as
No, it's
relevant.
true.
That's the way I look at a lot of
I
these
agree with you,
things.
man. I couldn't say it any better myself. I agree.
Well, I hope everyone who has watched has enjoyed. Please go back, leave a comment on each of the movies, what you thought. We'd love to hear about it, but also we'd love to hear about what you thought about the remake as well as you're on this one. We usually stream at twitch.tv/Delco Network or youtube.com/Delco Network, where you can also find the video version of this podcast as well as the audio version on your favorite podcast app of choice. Just search Delco Network. You sure will find us. Social media, facebook.com/Delco Network, and at everywhere with an @sign at Delco Nerds. You can find all of this information on our website, DelcoNetwork.com, and you can also join our Discord there. We talk about RoboCop and whatever's going on. What's new?
Sometimes it pops
Pocopia
up, yeah.
and Resident Evil 9. You should be seeing those reviews soon, or they're probably
Ooh, I
already
can't wait
out.
to see you review that.
Dude,
You're gonna review the new Resident Evil?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
Oh,
he's finished-
I'll be watching that.
next weekend.
I
we're
haven't
doing
played it. I know enough about it, and I'm
been
actually,
fun. It's been a lot of fun.
I'm curious to hear your thoughts on it.
Gooch
for
just
sure.
finished up. I got
Yeah,
a little bit left.
I'm excited to talk about it.
Yeah.
I'm
but-
excited to hear about that. That's gonna be cool.
And you can watch, plenty of other reviews. We got tons of Resident Evil games, tons of other movies,
All that good
so,
stuff.
yeah, if you're a fan of anything nerdy, please check into the backlog. Email delconerds@gmail.com. Send us your thoughts, concerns, things to the group. Go to the group. What rewind review should we do next?
Yeah, actually,
I-
throw some suggestions. I'm
I,
actually
have-
curious.
I do have an idea about where I want to go, and it probably more leans toward where we started at the beginning with not Indiana Jones, but with the Fraser-thon.
Gotcha. Like a more like an actor.
Maybe doing an actress. We haven't done an actress yet.
They're all actors, Gooch. Thank you very much.
yeah.
Like an EUR.
The Triss is gone. No,
Whatever.
it's like stewardess, man. You can't. No, I'm kidding. No, I think that's a great idea. Genuinely.
Yeah, because we've done a lot of like Harry Potter.
Can I
and
make
we've
can
done
I,
a lot
can I
of
make a
IPs.
suggestion of who you should do?
Please.
Yeah.
Sigourney Weaver. Sigourney Weaver has an incredible filmography. She's done so many different diverse things.
Here's the problem with
actually not
that.
a bad idea.
I wouldn't do any of the alien stuff.
That's
'Cause we-
fine.
Alien,
because we
you
wanna
can
keep-
move. You
yeah.
can move on from Alien, but like she's done a
Because like with
lot
Nolan,
of really interesting
we're like,
stuff.
I think we mentioned this.
Yeah.
When we did Nolan, we're like, we can't do any of the Dark Knight because
Right.
we'll just do the Dark Knight.
Right.
But
Yeah.
on its
like,
own.
man, if you go into Sigourney Weaver's filmography, she's done so many diverse, really cool things.
She really has been like a star.
and
for a
she's
while.
just an
It's wild.
incredible woman. And
Why
I
don't
feel
you
like
email
she's
us,
one of those people that like just never gets any like the people kind of just forget about her, and I feel like that's not fair. She really
that's
is a
good
good
point.
I have an idea about someone who I like, who like I think the opportunity with that, especially with like Nolan, like you're watching movies you probably would never watch otherwise.
Sure.
So you're like RoboCop is one thing, but like you're really being exposed
Like
to
Memento for Nolan. I never.
Well,
I probably
I
would've gotten
love.
it.
Have you seen that movie?
That's what- yeah, we did that for the
like,
review.
Love that.
Yeah,
movie.
so
I
like,
will often
for,
just watch
for
an
Frasier,
entire-
like Monkey Bone,
Oh,
and
yeah.
we did Crash,
Yeah.
which was like probably one of the wildest like kind of movies we ever watched. Trio actually didn't even finish it.
I was
Crash?
just like, what's? Because I was like, I don't even. I just didn't really understood. I didn't understand going in what the movie was going to be. I'm like, I don't know
don't
if
think
this is
any of
going to
us did.
like
Wow.
be really conducive to the to like but it actually ended up being great.
Yeah, so I'm
Actually
looking,
ended up being
I feel like the video game one was one I wanted to do. You want to do RoboCop? I feel like we're kind of like out of like ideas I've had churning for a while.
There's a
with
few.
rerun movies.
There's like the big ones, obviously, but like I will like Lord of the Rings, obviously,
Yeah,
and like
there's
certain
the-
big franchises for sure.
yeah. But anyway,
I will
ahead.
say I very often will sit down and just like pick a director, like and watch all of John Carpenter's movies or like all
be a
of
good
Martin
one, too.
Scorsese's movies. Like it is really fun to see an artist.
Cillian Murphy's one I
kinda-
would love to do.
Yeah, it's cool to see an artist just kind of like in their full body
Evolve,
of work
grow,
and their
yeah.
evolution and like what they do at certain times.
That was
So,
cool for the Fraser-thon, honestly. Like it was a pretty big
yeah,
game.
and it was cool because we really were timely with that.
Yeah.
And like I feel like Brendan Fraser has only gotten bigger since we did that.
Literally, did you see The Whale?
Yeah.
Sorry.
For Trio, for Evan, my name is Anthony Ragucci. Thanks for watching. Stay nerdy, and we will see you next time.
Please comply.